I'm joined now by the man who is ranked number 23 on the NBA all-time assist leaders list with 6,726 assists. Not to mention he's the shortest player to ever step onto the hardwood with a height of 5 foot 3 inches. On behalf of myself and Brandeis University, Muggsy Bogues, thank you for joining the program today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Amidst everything that's going on in our country right now with the COVID-19 pandemic and the fight to combat institutional racism and present more accountability, what changes would you like to see and what role do you think the NBA has in helping to encourage these reforms?
Well, I think the NBA is doing an excellent job of continuing to keep the awareness going. A lot of things, as you alluded to, has been happening in our society, some unjust that we feel like's been happening, and a lot of our black men is growing through the streets. So we're just trying to make sure that everybody have a fair chance. And what the NBA is doing is using that platform, the guys, the lead, as well as continue to share the awareness. And I would just like everybody just to have that blindness heart. Everybody to believe that we're a human race as opposed to the color of your skin. And once we get to that point, because we all want the best for each kid. I know my kid, I want the best for my kids as well as my neighbors' kids, and we just want everybody to feel that way and have that understanding to where we can all move along and have a better world to live in.
You played 4 years at Wake Forest University, where your number 14, was retired. What about their program helped with your transition to the NBA after 4 years?
Well, I think being exposed, because where I came from in the city of Baltimore, I've been around blacks my whole life, and then it was a culture shock when I got to Wake Forest. But it was such a blessing because it opened my eyes and how to deal with other individuals and how to just deal with people. And I think the education that I was able to attain at Wake Forest allowed my mind to expand and look at other things as what the world had to offer. So, I'm just thankful and grateful for the University of Wake Forest because it really molded me into the man that I am today.
In 1987, you were selected by the Washington Bullets with the 12th overall pick, and you were a teammate of 7 foot 7 inch Manute Bol. What about his playing style and technique allowed the two of you to develop chemistry during your rookie season?
Well, I always understood that, we both had a skill set. He just happened to be 7'6". I happened to be 5'3". And we happened to play the same game and utilize our skills the best way we knew how. And I think I took fully advantage of what my assets were. And I'm quite sure Manu did as well. May he rest in peace. And we just had a great time being with one another, enjoy playing with each other. But at the same time, learning his culture, where he came from, Sudan, and him understanding, my upbringings and growing up in the city of Baltimore and how we shared our stories and how we was able to, lean on one another to continue to move forward.
Do you think that both your personal sides and your backgrounds, rather than what happened on the basketball court, helped to develop your relationship and your chemistry even closer?
Oh, absolutely. His hardships that he had growing up in Sudan, and I consider my hardships growing up in the city of Baltimore, and the stories that we had. We will all have to overcome obstacles in different areas. And being tall, considered being that tall, and you have to have skills to come along with it. And being small and not having, quote unquote, folks believing that that size can compete in the game, especially on the level that I competed in. So it kind of, brought us together in similar way, in different ways, but we had unique stories. But we just kind of really fed off of one another, and we support each other each and every day.
Over the span of your career, you had the opportunity to play with exceptional players, including Moses Malone, Alonzo Mourning, Robert Parrish. The list goes on. What did you learn from these men that helped you with your game on the court and life off the court?
Well, I'm really grateful for Moses Malone. May he rest in peace. Him and Manu as well. Daryl Walker is included in that much. Because as a rookie, they taught me the do's, the what to do on and off the court. Because as a young kid coming to the NBA, relatively young, not knowing that world and knowing how to operate. You kid coming into with all this money and not how to operate and not how to carry yourself and conduct yourself. You can really get lost in it. And having them guys as my mentor and explaining to me the things and how to be a professional on and off the court really allowed me to last 14 years in the NBA, because without that toolage, without that information, I don't know probably where I would have gone and where I would have been. But I think those guys really helped me out tremendously. Playing with that type of talent, playing with that type of knowledge really helped me out as a youngster.
At the end of your playing career in Toronto, you played alongside Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, who were then just beginning. What about their playing style and technique early on made you know that they would go on to become gifted basketball players?
Because not only that they were so talented and gifted, but they was young men who was willing to listen. They were surrounded by a lot of veterans, myself, the Charles Oakley, the Del Currys, the Doug Christies, as well as the Antonio Davis and D Brown in the world. And they just was like sponges, soaking up information, was willing to take advice from the older guys who've been through it. And that year, we were fortunate enough to make the playoff for our first time of the franchise history. And it just was a blessing playing with those two talented players and who sure to be Hall of Famers.
Would you say that rookies today in any sport, whether it's football, basketball, college basketball, even, the best attribute they can have is maturity and understanding and taking constructive criticism?
And being humble, having humble and being humble in the process. I think that's what carry you the feathers. And I think today's game, I think a lot of the stars today have that type of person in their life who mentor, who they learn from, because you got to learn how to follow in order to become a leader. And I think those guys was willing to do it, and they doing it at the best of their ability.
From 2005 to 2007, you served as the head coach of the WNBA Charlotte Sting. What did you learn about yourself during that period that gave you more of an appreciation for coaches today?
Well, patience, how to be patient. I never coached women basketball, and I was really exposed and really thankful to be able to engage in that type of professionalism, because that's what they showed me, professionalism each and every day, the way they came in and conducted themselves. And I noticed more so than the men, they focus on the fundamentals aspect of the game. And they really do it too. I mean, it really does it so well. And I think that's what a lot of men misses, because they rely so much on their athletic ability as opposed to the fundamental skills that they so desperately needed in their game.
In 2014, you were named as the Hornets ambassador and special projects advisor. Since joining the team, how has your relationship with Michael Jordan grown, and how has he helped to expand the organization?
Well, MJ and I have been friends for quite some time. We go back from college days, and happened to do a movie together, Space Jam, and then now being able to join his team and join his organization. He does an amazing job here in Charlotte and in the community, because he's definitely reached out and brought this culture back, and just saying, his vision and the team that he puts out there, and trying to continue to bring a championship pedigree type of a team on the floor, but at the same time serving the community, giving them an opportunity to engage with the organization, with the fans, with the players, and the players is doing an excellent job in engaging with the community. Giving back, taking part in it, and being a face out there and being visible. So I'm so grateful and thankful that I'm still here in the city of Charlotte, and at the same time being part of the Hornets.
You obviously had the opportunity to watch Kemba Walker during his time in Charlotte before coming to Boston. What have you seen from him thus far this season that has helped boost this year's Celtics team?
I'm just so happy for Kemba. He's such a great man. His family come from a great family, and he's done Charlotte such a great service the time that he was here. And but unfortunately, he wasn't able to have the supporting cast to get it all done. But like I said, we all continue to love him and follow him from afar. And what he's done to the Boston Celtics, I mean, it's remarkable. I know he's coming behind a Kyrie Irving, whose talent is on right, but Kemba brings, joyness, happiness, as well as his knowledge to the game, and being, familiar from that area. Being in UConn, I think, people will appreciate his hard work that he's always put in on and off the court. And now, lending that type of service to the Celtics is a blessing. So I'm happy for him, the Celtics organization, as well as family.
On a personal note, for me, I saw the Boston Celtics and the Charlotte Hornets go at it at the TD Garden, I want to say 2 years ago. And Kemba Walker signed every single autograph for every single Boston fan. And never, when I go to NBA venues across the country, have I ever seen a visiting player sign an autograph for every single fan of the opposing team.
And that's Kimba. I mean, that's the joy, and he don't want to leave anybody out. He truly appreciated all the support that he receives, and he wants to give it right back. So he's that's just the type of young man that he is, willing to sign every autograph that's still standing in the building or wherever they are, and not want to leave anyone out. And that's the type of young man that he is.
This past summer, you partnered with the When We All Vote campaign to help encourage higher voter turnouts. What is the goal of the campaign, and how can our listeners and Brandeis students get involved with this?
Well, we want to continue to bring awareness to it and let them know how important it is to vote. It's not, I mean, this is one of the prime times or most crucial times to get out there and voice your opinion. I mean, we see a lot of march going on in the streets, and that is beautiful, and that is beautiful to see that peaceful marching that's taking place. But your voice, when you pull that lever, speaks volume. So we want to get all, especially all the young youth out there, to let them know how important it is to get out there and vote, because it paves so many hardships where folks, didn't have the right to vote, didn't have an opportunity to vote. Here it is in 1965. Women was able to vote, and that's the day that was the year I came into this world in 1965. So, that's how so far it's been, and then how it seems so far away, but how close it even was 55 years ago. But we just want to make sure that everybody get out there and vote. Lend your voice. Whichever way you go, lend your voice to something that's so important in today's society, because we desperately need it.
Your organization, the Muggsy Bogues Family Foundation, also has a virtual voters and floaters event. How does all that tie in together?
Well, it continued just bringing awareness. We want to continue to just show our support. Chris Paul and Michelle Obama, launched their Starting Five campaign, and we want to join them. We want to let them know that we out here as well, trying to spread the word and let everybody know how important it is to vote on November the 3rd or whenever that early voting start. Just to get out there, whatever the situation is, if it's a mail-in vote or it's actually go out there and lending your body to that pose, you need to do so. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't say what you would like to have done if you're not going to go out there and vote and put your voice to that cause. So we want to make sure you get out there and do that.
Absolutely. Mr. Bogues, I appreciate you taking the time to come on my show this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you. And I'm pulling for the Celtics for Kimber as well. So let's go Celtics tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.